Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Secret Wealth Project. Good evening, YouTube. Yes, we are live. I always say that. If we just wait for some people to jump on, and please give me a thumbs up and let me know that you can see and you can hear us. Okay, I say it every single time, guys, because the amount of times I've gone live now where my mic's not switched on, my camera's not switched on, or something like that. So just waiting for the first person to comment. We've got a hi, guys, which is good.
That's not quite a glaring notification that we're live, but it's something.
Yeah, it's something. So I know that they can see us. We've got Jamie, we've got Karen, we've got Matt. Yes, there we go. First confirmation. We can see and hear us. Okay,
Alex,
yeah, absolutely. You guys will be able to see the kind of comments as we're going through. So we'll wait for a few people to jump on. And while we're doing that, I'm just going to introduce my lovely guests this evening. Tonight, I am joined, I don't know where, there we go. I think it's this way. Tonight, I am joined by Leo Felisberto.
Perfect.
There we go.
Rolls off the tongue.
Just rolls off the tongue. Yeah, I wasn't nervous about saying it or anything. Hopefully you couldn't tell. And then also we are joined by superstar US seller Tim Jordan. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Well, thank you. I feel like I should also speak in a British accent, but it's going to be embarrassing.
Oh, really? You can try. You can absolutely try. It's up to you.
See, it'll actually happen accidentally. About halfway through the presentation, it'll just like start migrating. What's really bad is when I'm in China and I start doing my Chinese accent. That's really bad.
Yeah, that is kind of bad. Absolutely. Yeah. Right, I'm just going to log into the phone very quickly just so I can see. You guys know you use StreamYard. Sometimes you can see the comments. Sometimes you can't. So I'm just going to say a quick hello to everyone. Sean, he's watching live from KFC and it's finger looking good. There we go. Who else has joined us? Julia, Hayden, Cindy, Caitlin, Janet, Heather. Slather's joined us. Hi Slather, first time he's caught us live. So there we go. Matt says do it. You've got to do the accent. He's thrown the gauntlet down at some time. So it's gonna have to happen. Loads of people piling on. Jordan, just before we get started, guys, just before I tell you why Leo and Tim have joined us, if I haven't dropped enough hints over the last week or so anyway, just give me kind of some likes and loves just so we can push out the Facebook notification. But also, I know I've spoken to a lot of you over the weekend, and I know a lot of you are having the best Q4 ever, but I just give me a quick comment, a 1 word, 2 words on how this weekend has been for you from a sales point of view. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, coming out of the back of it. It's payday, it's COVID, it's lockdown, there's stock shortages. It's just been mad. Has it been the same? While we're waiting for everyone to comment, has it been the same for you, Tim?
Yeah, I feel like this year has been like the exact like concentration of ups and downs at the same time. Like you get frustrated with the lockdowns because of COVID, but because we're in the e-commerce industry, it also means more sales because people aren't going into stores. We look at things like Black Friday and Cyber Monday that actually weren't spectacular for me, but it's not because people weren't shopping. It's because people have been shopping for the past 2 weeks, because at least in the US, Amazon did like Black Friday week, right? So when I look at the whole week, sales were up. It's like every day is good news and bad news mixed together. But I'll say this, I am extremely glad I'm in the e-commerce industry, because no matter what has happened this year, that industry has continued to grow and grow and grow. And it's been kind of a fun ride.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we got the big news here today. Leo, you'll be aware of this. By the way, Tim's based in the US and Leo originally from the US, but you are based in London. But we got the news today, you've probably seen it, Leo, that one of our biggest department stores going into administration, going into bankruptcy today. I mean, to be honest, it was one of those situations that was probably going to happen anyway. And we've been talking about it quite a lot this year, in the sense that it's just the COVID pandemic has just sped it up for a lot of retailers, for a lot of high street stores. The high street's been dying for a really long time in the UK, something I'm sure you're experiencing in the US as well. And it's just, unfortunately, it's just sped it up. So, yeah, that was the sad news today about Debenhams going into administration. So it's something that we're seeing all the time. So, yeah, everyone's kind of saying, yes, sales have been explosive. Q4, everything's going down. Best time ever. Hayden's still holding his prices. Good, because we don't like price droppers here. Definitely not. Great ROIs. And I completely agree with you, Tim. And we've been talking about this for a little while, actually. Is the sales have been more spread out this year as opposed to big seasonal peaks and troughs for big Black Friday kind of sales and big spikes and things like that, because people are more prepared. They have to be due to finances. And also at the end of the day, there's nowhere else for them to shop, really.
I know. It's funny. We've been talking a lot about strategy for the Black Friday and the Cyber Monday, and, usually like that 8, 9, 10 days prior to Christmas. And a lot of times people get in these price wars to try to move as much inventory as possible. This year, I've been telling everybody, don't drop your prices, leave them up, because everybody's going to sell out of everything. And I don't care if I have an amazing day on Black Friday because I discounted my private label products 50%. I'll let all those other jabronis sell their product. And then the week before Christmas, I'll be the last guy left with premium prices, and I'll be the one with the profit, And I don't know how it is in the UK. I know there's been some similarities, but in the US, the demand for Amazon products has nearly shut down even the logistics infrastructure in Amazon. Nobody can get stuff in. Nobody can get stuff out. Things aren't moving, so people are having to use 3PLs. But those of us that are nimble and agile and adaptive that can move quickly and get things done, we're having the best season we've ever seen. So it's been a crazy year for sure.
Absolutely. Similar story here. Amazon have definitely got their act together, I must say, for Q4, though. We were a bit worried. I never thought I'd see the day. 2020 has been a year of things that I never thought could be possible, especially on Amazon. I would have bet my bottom dollar at the start of the year. You could have knocked me over with a feather if someone had said to me that Amazon would restrict people selling on FBA certain items and all these different things that have happened this year, which ultimately has fueled online e-commerce sales massively. It's taken us a while to get there. But I must admit, Amazon are pretty good. We're still sending in shipments now. Nothing's been restricted, apart from the standard toys in Q4, obviously, for merchant fulfilled. Nothing's been restricted, and they're doing all right, actually. 5 to 7 days turnaround for most products at the moment, which is pretty good. We seem to be all right at the moment.
Everybody likes to complain about the negative things. I see it in like the big Facebook groups, the big online communities. Amazon, Jeff Bezos is the devil, But the truth is, well, one, most of our businesses are because of Jeff Bezos. We can't complain too much about that. But Amazon is growing so fast they can't keep up.
Yeah.
So when things happen, like they start restricting inbound shipments, it's not because they don't care about the third-party sellers. It's because business is so good, they can't handle it. I mean, look at all the fulfillment centers that they're building in Europe. It's insanity how fast they're growing there. In the US earlier this year, they hired 140,000 warehouse workers. And then 3 months later, about a month ago, they hired another 100,000 just to keep up. Like, even the negative news on the back end is actually positive news because it means the industry is going up. So, for Amazon to delay some of the inbound shipments and have problems getting stuff shipped out, I agree with you. They're actually doing exceptionally well because they're trying to shoulder double the volume that they expected. So I think they're doing a pretty good job, and this Q4 is not going to be a complete bust.
No, absolutely. And definitely from a personal point of view, from a customer point of view as well. My husband, there's always a Prime package arriving every single day in our household. Yeah. I don't shop on Amazon. It's too expensive, but, for the products I need. But with my husband, he's always ordering. I call him Prime Matt. And it's still 24 hours, still Prime, 24-hour deliveries in Q4, in COVID. I think it's the infrastructure that Amazon has put in place is phenomenal. It's a modern marvel. We can't deny them that in any way, shape, or form. And I've been, certainly really impressed with how they've handled. I was really impressed last Q4 how they handled things, and this Q4, given the circumstances, absolutely phenomenal. And a lot of people agree in the comments, with what we've been saying, that Amazon are doing great. Turnaround's really good. John says, hold on to those prices. He's adjusted a lot of his maximums up in Profit Protector Pro, which is our repricer this year. So this Q4. Yeah, that's my husband. He says it's like Christmas every day. It is for you, Matt. Definitely, darling. Right. So let's talk about a little bit why you guys are here. Now, I originally reached out to Tim a little while ago because for you guys, you know that I've been talking about Brexit. And by the way, this is not going to be a Brexit show for anyone. We've had all those type of shows before. But I kind of reached out to you because very aware, obviously, that a lot of sellers, particularly in our market, from an arbitrage point of view, are going to lose potentially quite a big part of their business moving forward with the inability to be able to sell in Europe due to everything that's going on with Brexit. So I reached out to Tim, guys, who I know is a prominent, very successful, knowledgeable seller in the US, because I feel the next logical step for people selling on Amazon, if they can't sell in Europe, is to consider selling over the pond. And that's why I reached out to Tim, because I thought if anyone's going to hopefully introduce us and, you know, come and talk to us about doing that, it would be Tim, which Tim's, if we're nice to him, hopefully he'll agree to come back and talk to us at some point about. But during our conversations, we were talking about Amazon in its current state, everything that's kind of going on, and the UK market and all these different types of things. We kind of mentioned about an opportunity that was going to be coming to the UK for the very first time, something us UK sellers had not experienced before, that was going to be beneficial for UK sellers that maybe were newer sellers. And when I say newer sellers, possibly started selling on Amazon in the last 2 or 3 years, which isn't new at all. And we just started talking a little bit more about that. And it was something that was coming. Now it's here. And this is why we wanted to talk about it in a very casual kind of setting, introduce it to you guys, because, you know, never mind the buy box is not about selling you anything. It's about delivering the most up-to-date information on Amazon to UK sellers. And as far as I'm concerned, what we're going to talk about tonight is that up-to-date information. No one else has this option as it stands. So that's why I've brought Leo and Tim on tonight. So to talk to you about that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you, and then we can talk about the kind of opportunity a little bit more.
So first, I want to start off by saying this. I have a lot of exposure to the online selling world, you know, globally, a lot of different communities, a lot of different groups. And there are a lot of people that work pretty hard, and there's a lot of people that pretend to work hard but don't with their communities. And from the moment that I met Natalie, you guys need to understand how hard she works for you. Like, I put her near the top of my list about just getting things done, getting things organized. The content that, you know, I'm watching her put out, it doesn't cost you guys anything. So Natalie, big props to you. And as I've kind of been lurking behind the scenes, getting some stuff prepared. And for those of you that are wondering what I'm talking about, Natalie and I are preparing some stuff for you guys. It's going to be really, really cool, probably starting in Q1 to really help you grow your business. And Natalie sweet talked me into it for you guys. So just want to give a shout out to Natalie.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, what Natalie was saying is there are so many avenues of online sales that are supported in the larger markets like the US. There's a lot of tools, there's a lot of software, there's a lot of services, there's a lot of education. But in the smaller geographical markets, especially for Amazon, it's tougher to find those things. It's tougher for people to invest time, energy, effort into putting together the resources for online sellers. I am friends with the head of Amazon Australia, and she and I talk pretty regularly, and she tells me, she says, Tim, Amazon won't come out and say this publicly, but Amazon needs the outside world to help. They need people like the Secret Wealth Project, which puts out content, which teaches people how to sell. They need services. They need logistics providers. They need, you know, sourcing agents. They need all these things to make the Amazon ecosystem work. And when I started thinking about that, it made me realize, hey, there's all these hustlers, these business builders out there that need these solutions that aren't necessarily getting them. So throughout the several years that I've been an online seller, I've had a lot of exposure to a lot of cool things. Been able to help with a lot of different companies, done anything from consulting to selling to building brands to doing free content. And as I look at the global infrastructure and I think about like where the biggest opportunity is for e-commerce growth, the UK has always been in those crosshairs. And I've thought the UK, the UK is, at least for a gringo like me, the UK is a tiny island. But the UK historically has always been able to make a large global impact. I mean, think about all of the people throughout the world with a British accent. That's not because you Brits don't know how to get big things done from a small island, right? And I was thinking to myself, man, there's so much opportunity here. So to introduce myself officially, one of the roles that I have in life is the Chief Growth Officer for a company called Sellers Funding, which I fell into by accident. And it's we'll talk about it in a second, but it's basically financial services built specifically for e-commerce sellers. And we sat down 6 months ago with the rest of the executives and said, all right, what's next? We said, it's got to be UK. And the financial industry is tough, especially when you go global, because there's so many restrictions and licenses and money laundering and Russian oligarchs transferring money through Cyprus. And, all the banking systems are scared to death of this. And it took a lot of time. But we sent a very special person a long time ago over to the UK to start building up this infrastructure and getting it ready. And now, officially for the first time ever, somebody, Sellers Funding specifically, has put together some services that are massively valuable and massively popular in the US for sellers, but in the UK for UK sellers. So I guess that's a long intro to myself. I'm a seller brand builder, done a lot of free content, done a lot of collaborative stuff out there, done a lot of training, masterminding for private label, and I get to help steer the ship a little bit with Sellers Funding. And I want to introduce, I guess now, Leo, who is that very special person we sent over to the UK to start building up this infrastructure that's going to be valuable to UK sellers. So Leo, introduce yourself and talk about why UK was so important for us to the point where you even decided to move your entire family over to London.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a tough one to follow up on, right? It's quite an impressive resume that Tim's been able to build over the years.
All BS, man.
Mine's not as exciting, but definitely I think useful for this business and what we're trying to build here. So just by way of introduction, I'm Leo Felisberto. I'm the UK country head for Sellers Funding. So my background is actually in finance. So I spent about 10 years or so in the banking industry, advising institutional and large private clients on their business and investments. And funny enough, it was actually in analyzing the Amazon stock and looking at their earnings when I first came across this universe that's third-party sellers, right, within Amazon. And I just found it so fascinating. And then you fast forward a couple of years, and that's when Sellers Funding had reached out to me and asked me to start the business and help build the business in the UK initially, and very shortly expanding into the rest of Europe. And it's exactly what Tim had said. I think, sitting across the pond in the US, where Amazon was founded, it's such a mature business, but we couldn't help but just look over and just see the opportunity that was in the UK, right? So as far as the business, we'd been operational for about 3 years or so before moving to the UK. But honestly, I think from day one, we were already getting demand and inquiries and just seeing the growth potential that was in the UK. So I think we were a little late to pull the trigger, but we finally did. Incorporated here in 2019, and the business has grown exponentially just in a very short amount of time, which again is just proof is in the pudding, right? As we're seeing the success, being able to help all of these businesses that we're partnering and working with. So very excited to be here. And I think that this is a lasting relationship and footprint for the business for years to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was key with what you said, that some of the services that you're going to talk about this evening, they have been very much long established in the US market. Yeah. And the UK is kind of catching up to that. I mean, we're very lucky with the Secret Wealth Project. We've been the foremost kind of community to launching innovative products like Bible Pro software, all Profit Protector Pro, and deal services and things like that do support the Amazon selling community. But as our community is growing, our sellers, with the support of that software, are becoming more successful. And therefore, with success with Amazon, with these type of business, extra support is needed in different areas. And again, this is why probably 2 years ago, if this opportunity had come along, I don't know if UK sellers outside of private label would have been in this type of position, but because the opportunity has grown so much, especially in 2020, now is the time to be talking about this. And with Amazon in the way that it is, as fantastic business as it is, it's quite restrictive in certain areas, especially to do with holding sellers' funds, which is what we're predominantly going to be talking about tonight, a solution to those, I suppose, barriers that, don't get me wrong, I understand why Amazon have put them up. It is to protect customers at the end of the day from scammers and people selling fake products and all these different types of things, and money laundering regulations and everything like that. So I understand that. But sometimes when you're trying to grow a business, those barriers, those bottlenecks can be incredibly frustrating. And as I was mentioning beforehand, we've seen a lot of people in our community that have recently been impacted, very much so, by having their funds withheld by Amazon as they go through a re-verification process. And I'm talking sellers that have been selling for 2, 3, 4 years, right in the middle of Q4, holding thousands of pounds, unable to get their cash out of Amazon, unable to purchase, and they've had to sit 2-3 weeks, which doesn't sound a lot, but in this period of time, right now, with what's happening with the e-commerce world with Amazon, to sit out 2 or 3 weeks has been devastating to some people's business, and that's not an understatement. So to be able to present an opportunity that might be able to help solve that for certain sellers, I think we're at the right place, the right time. The universe is kind of aligned to it, essentially. So, yeah, I think we're all kind of agreement to that. So, evening to everyone that's joined us. So, I don't know if you want to kind of tell us a little bit more about the opportunity now and sellers funding and how it could potentially help some of the sellers that will be watching live now, watching the replay, all of that type of stuff.
Yeah. And again, like Natalie said, I don't want this to be a sales pitch, but this is valuable for especially those of you in the UK, because this has never been available before. This is brand new. And in fact, we have not publicly launched this to anybody except for you guys. So of all the online sellers, the communities, we haven't even notified Amazon UK that this is available first, because we know that so many people are going to sign up, and there is, a little bit of a onboarding process to start utilizing this feature, that I told Natalie, like, we need to make sure to give some priority to this organization, because, we don't want a huge backlog of people pouring in. So we're kind of gating it a little bit. But let's talk about exactly what Sellers Funding is and the context of how that can help you guys. So again, not a sales pitch, but I want to explain what the functionality that we have now opened up publicly in the UK is. And it may be valuable to your business. And if it is, we want to hear about that. We want questions. We want to have a conversation here. So post things in the comments. And I'm just going to go through a quick kind of slide presentation so you can visualize some of this stuff. And then, Natalie, if you'll just pause me at any time. Leo, if you need to pause me and throw in something I've forgotten to mention, that's perfectly fine. And those of you, post comments, post questions, and Natalie will tell me to shut up and answer these questions when they need to be answered. If that sounds good to you guys.
We never do that. We don't do that in England. We don't tell people to shut up.
people tell me to shut up all the time. I'm just used to it.
No, okay. Just before we get started, actually, Sean was one of the people that was affected or impacted recently by this whole verification. Really dedicated seller, massively trying to grow his business, and put on hold for 3 weeks. Amazon held 25 grand, and it just absolutely stagnated his business over the last few weeks. But he's trying to make up for him now, and I know he's the type of guy, he's going to be prepping till like 3 o'clock in the morning. He's going to make up for it. If anyone's going to make up for it, it's definitely going to be Sean. Right, let me add this in. There we go. I'll keep our faces on so everyone can see us still.
That way, so I can't pick my nose now because I'm still on camera?
No, still on camera, no respite, I'm afraid.
All right, got it. So yeah, let's talk about right now the new features that Sellers Funding is publicly launching, specifically in the UK for Amazon sellers. And just to give you a little bit of context of who we are, I don't necessarily mean myself, I don't mean Leo, we've introduced ourselves, but Sellers Funding is a company that was founded essentially by big financial banking guys. Like Leo is in the traditional banking industry. Our CEO was in the traditional banking industry. And what we realized, and this is something that you guys have seen if you've sold for even a day, is that the world has not caught up to what we're doing. The world doesn't understand what we're doing. And a lot of even the banking infrastructure don't understand e-commerce sellers. So the reason Sellers Funding was started is we realized, hey, e-commerce sellers are growing like crazy. They have special needs. They may be living in Germany, selling in Amazon US private label, and they need a funding solution that will fund them. But US banks won't fund them, and German banks won't fund them because the inventory is in the US, right? So we started building algorithmic models where we actually plug into your account information through API access through Amazon. It's all legit. Amazon gives us that information with your permission. And we basically build a growth model. So instead of trying to go to a bank to get financing for your next inventory purchase, and banks just don't understand it, we can plug into our algorithm and in a very short period of time, calculate your growth potential based on factors that nobody else understands. And as Sellers Funding has grown, they've brought in folks like myself, who's an Amazon seller and understands this. And we're continuing to build products and solutions specifically for you guys, because I know the pain points that I had when I started selling online. I remember my first wire transfer to China that I sent was like one of the scariest things I ever did. It was terrifying. So I got to say, hey, let's build a payment solution that's better than wire transferring and you can't track your money. Let's build this and this and this. And, I look at people whose funds are held up and don't have the speed to the speedy access to their money, and they can't scale. So that's the very short version of what Sellers Funding is. We're in the US, we're in the UK, we've got capabilities in Australia. We've got stuff going on in Germany right now where we can facilitate funds to China. Like, we got all sorts of crazy stuff going on. But at the heart of what Sellers Funding is, it's just a bunch of folks that understand e-commerce, and that's exclusively who we serve. So this is specifically what Natalie wanted me to talk about. Okay. Now, most people know me as a private label seller, but what a lot of people don't know is I started as a reseller. So I started doing wholesale, I started doing arbitrage. And I still firmly believe that arbitrage is massively important in e-commerce. A lot of people are saying, oh, arbitrage is dead. You have to move on to private label real fast. Well, I think there's value to that, but there's still money to be made, right? Reselling will always have a place. The problem is resellers a lot of times don't understand, I shouldn't say basic, but fairly standard financial principles, okay? So what we do is we limit ourselves. We think we can't scale faster. We can't grow this thing faster because it is what it is. We can't change the game. We can't make things better for ourselves. So that's why Natalie said, hey, I've heard of this option in the US. Tim, do you know anybody that can pull this off? And I said, oh my gosh, it's coming. Like, give us 6 weeks and we're going to have this function. And what it is specifically is a instant payment advance for your funds selling on Amazon, okay? And not exactly instant, but daily. So a daily funds advance. So right here in my very, very poorly designed infographic, because I'm not an artist, what I want to do is just kind of explain what's going on. These two little lines down here represent your Amazon payouts every 2 weeks, right? So what happens is, as a reseller, we source the goods, we ship them to Amazon, we get them received, we sell them. At this point that they're sold, we have profited and we've recouped our cash. Okay, so if we bought a $30 item and sold it for $50, we've probably made $10 and recouped our $30 back. So this is $40 sitting here per sale. The problem is this dotted line is our money, and it's just sitting there, and there's nothing we can do with it, right? Until that disbursement comes and we get paid. Now, when I started thinking about e-commerce and I started learning, because I didn't understand finances, and I started, learning how finances work with e-commerce, I realized that profit margin is important, but also the number of times you can turn inventory is important. Okay. So if this represents your recoup of $30 worth of inventory and $10 profit, the more times that you can create that $10 of profit a year, the more profitable you are, right? Your profit margin is going to be fairly fixed, but it comes down to how many times can I do this? Boom, 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 boom. Replicate it faster, 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 faster. It's all about cash flow. That's why giant companies, we've had, Leo almost said a name. We've had one of the largest toy manufacturers in the world, the biggest brands, come to us for funding for their e-commerce stores because even the biggest brands with mountains of cash understand that if they can get their hands on more cash, they can turn inventory faster and be more profitable. It's all about cash flow, right? So in the US, this feature's been available from third-party folks. Amazon stopped doing this a long time ago, this daily payout feature. So what we figured out, and what I figured out personally before working with Sellers Funding, was if I can, instead of this dotted line being a waiting period, if I can get my funds instantly, then I can start this process again. Source the goods, ship the goods, receive the goods, sell the goods, right? And with Amazon, we know that there's a 14-day period. And if I were to slide this back a little bit and we'd sell a product on day one of our new cycle, that money is going to be held for 14 days. That's 2 weeks. That's a long time, right? And when we add into this things like Amazon arbitrarily holding up funds, if we could get our funds every day, we reduce some of that risk and we keep our sales cycles faster, our cash flow faster, our inventory churn faster. So that's what we've built. And that is what we're officially launching and announcing today, is we now have the capabilities for you with your Amazon account to get money dispersed to you every single day based on your sales from the previous day. So every day, at whatever time you log in the morning, 8 a.m. and check your balance amount, we check that as well through our automated system and disperse funds. So let me talk about how this works a little bit. Oh, I forgot this slide. This was supposed to represent lost opportunity. Dang it, Leo, I worked so hard on that red text and I wasted it. All right, but you guys get my point. This is lost opportunity.
Just before we jump ahead, Tim, actually, Peter's asked, and this is something that's probably this is how I would probably represent it for some of us that have been more traditional business for the years. So Peter's asked, is this the e-commerce variant of factoring, essentially, like invoice factoring? I don't know if you have the same terms in the US that we would have here.
I don't know, but you know who does know the answer to that?
Leo.
So Leo, I understand what invoice factoring is here, but since you're also in the system in the UK, you probably know these terms better than I do. So if you would answer that. Great.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's the easiest way to describe it. Just if we were to capture something that's relatable to us here in the UK, that's absolutely right. I think the difference is just the mechanics of it are specifically geared toward Amazon, right? And the payout cycle. So we focus specifically on how that works. But yes, so just for ease of explanation, very similar to invoice factoring here in the UK.
Yeah, it's like the new innovative version of like the 2020 or going into 2021 version of what is invoice factoring.
The actual industry that Sellers Funding is part of is fintech, financial technology, which a lot of people think I make that up. There's no such thing as fintech. That's what it is. So we take things that have been around for a while and just make them extremely accessible, simple, automated, and all tech-based to work with sales platforms.
Yeah. Cool.
So let's talk a little bit about how the daily advance works. All right. The steps are pretty simple. Sign up and apply. And I see Matt has already posted a link into the group. We're calling that our affiliate link. Largely what that is we can track where different groups come through. So for example, any of you that come through from Secret Wealth Project will assign specific customer success managers, knowing that that you came from the Secret Wealth Project group. That means we can collaborate more on content. We can start to identify where like sticking points are and things that we can help. So if you'll go through that link, it'll help us tag and identify what type of seller you are, even because we get daily inquiries from the UK and the regions. This just helps us let us track it. So there in the comments, Matt's posted it, hit that link. But all you're going to do is sign up and apply. And when you sign up and apply for a free account with Sellers Funding, what you'll do is you'll connect your store. That's extremely easy. A lot of you that have used software and stuff have done this before. You connect your MWS token. Once you connect your MWS token, what will happen is our system will start looking at your sales, and they'll look at your consistency, and it'll look at your return rates and inbound shipping costs and things like that, and basically send you an offer. Now that offer will vary based on your seller profile, and the two variables to the offer are going to be the fee that we charge and the amount that we will forward you or front you. So let me talk about that second part, the amount that we front you. If every day Amazon disperses 2,000 pounds, I keep wanting to say dollars, 2,000 pounds into your account, 2,000 pounds additional. We're not going to give you 2,000 pounds. And the reason is because some of that may come back out from inbound shipments or returns or things like that. So typically we strive to do about 90%. If you're selling shoes or clothing that have a ridiculous return rate, then we can see that based on our algorithm and say, you may only be eligible for 80 or 85%. But generally that's enough. That just gives us a buffer because we have regulatory practices in the industry that we have to follow. And our underwriters won't let us front you money without having a little bit of buffer there for us, because someone could get paid $100,000 over 2 weeks and then disappear. We can't get our money back, right? The other thing is the fee. We charge a very, very transparent fee for this. Like nothing in the world is free, right? When I say transparent, that's important because the first company that started doing in the US is known for not being transparent. So people didn't understand, what am I being charged for? How much is this costing me? When am I getting my funds? What was calculated? So we're exceptionally transparent. You can log into your dashboard at any time and see all of this. And our fee is based on several factors. If you are a low volume seller and there's a lot of transactions happening every day, like if you're doing a few $100s a day that we're going to transfer to you, we still have operational costs to make those things happen. So our fee might have to be a little higher just so we can cover our own tails. But if you're doing really high volume, we can negotiate that down. So what we'll do is we'll send you an offer, and you'll basically get that offer and you can sign that as an agreement. Now, let me say this. What we hope is that, remember that life cycle that we talked about. The quicker you get your money, the more you can buy, the faster you can sell. Generally speaking, the fee that we charge is much smaller than the additional profit you can make by speeding things up. So it turns into those situations where you can't afford not to do it if you're using your funds and paying cash for your inventory, right? So anyways, you'll get an offer, you sign the agreement, and then what you do is open up a digital wallet where your funds will be received to. So of course, that allows you to reinvest your sales daily. You can use that for PPC. You can use that for off Amazon advertising if you're doing that. You can get cash flow to buy more inventory, run off traffic ads, all sorts of stuff. Basically, you guys know what I'm talking about. You get your money faster. I think those are the main highlights. What you need is you're going to have to connect to your MDMS token, open up a digital wallet, which we'll talk about just here in a second. And as far as requirements, you have to have at least 3 months of sales history on your marketplace, right? And your sales should average more than 5K per month. Now, I'll say this. If you're just below 5K a month, or if you're not averaging that, but the past 2 months have been 5K, we'll work with you. Leo is going to be in charge of all of your accounts that come through the Secret Wealth Project, and he's going to make sure to give you guys as much love as possible. So there'll be a little bit of wiggle room on that for sure.
Yeah, because that's pounds, not dollars, guys. Sorry, just to.
Pounds.
Yeah, that's clear.
I did the presentation. I messed it up.
That's all right. I think you'll be forgiven. It's fine. And that's really important to say that this has a human element to it as well. It's very, 2021, obviously, in terms of it's very AI, algorithmic based and things like that. But it also has that human element that actually probably a traditional bank doesn't have anymore. So it's done a little bit of a full circle in the sense that it's very innovative and futuristic in what it's going to be doing, how it's going to be making a decision. But like 30 years ago, a personal bank manager would make a decision on whether or not you got a loan. There's also that element there as well. So you're kind of covering both angles essentially, which is good. Now, I just want to pick up on Radu's comment actually, who said that because I think Radu's like a brand new seller, hasn't started yet, basically saying so there's no help for brand new sellers. The only thing I would say on that is I was actually really surprised when you guys said it's only a minimum of 3 months. In order to be considered for an Amazon loan, you're talking, probably about a year or so to be considered before having an Amazon loan offer. And that's under the right type of circumstances. And you've probably got to be doing over 10 grand a month consistently for 6 months to be considered for an Amazon loan as well. So I appreciate it's probably not going to help you at this very moment, Radu, unfortunately, but the help will be here and we will support you through the community in order to get you to that point as much as we can do. And it will be here, ready and waiting for you when you are eligible for that.
And I can add a point to that too, Raddy. Sellers Funding is a business that has to at least break even, or the shareholders get angry. And unfortunately, we know that in the Amazon world, 90% of sellers never sell more than a couple products. So what's happened in the past is we have all these people that sign up for this with full intentions, but there's a lot of heavy lifting on our end. We have to go through all sorts of compliance stuff. We have to open up your digital wallet accounts. We assign customer success managers. We do a ton of stuff. And we were getting so bogged down, and we continue to be getting bogged down with accounts that never actually started selling. So that's why we put a threshold, just to make sure that, our resources are best used. So I understand what you're saying, but I promise you that 3 months, and again, we can fudge that a little bit. It goes really, really fast, and usually doesn't seem like it takes that long at all.
Absolutely, especially in the Amazon world, especially at the moment, it always feels like Q4. So this year's gone so quickly, 3 months, Q1, that's all it is. It's the first quarter of the year. It's just going to absolutely fly by. But rest assured, we're here for you, and we'll be ready. Because believe me, this service ain't going nowhere. This is going to be so popular for so many people. This is, it's not going anywhere.
So I just want to quickly jump in. Sorry, Tim. Just to Natalie's previous point, just regarding the soft touch that we spoke about, which is so true. So each of the accounts that we have has a dedicated relationship manager, which is so important because data and technology is not going to give us the full picture of your business, right? It's a human business. There's a personal touch to it. So we have those conversations with you to understand and put everything into context, right? Maybe the numbers don't tell the entire story. And that's why, those conversations are able to fill in the blanks so that we can kind of come to a point where it makes sense for you and your business. So that's a very important point.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So if you have any questions about the daily advance, there's a lot of information on our website. There's a lot of information that we can pass to you, through the Facebook group. But the main thing is, if you'll go to that link that Matt posted, start an account, get signed up, you'll automatically be assigned to a success manager that can actually walk you through any questions, do demos, show you what the platform looks like, talk to you about your offer, all of that good stuff. So that's the thing I would say is go ahead and just start the process, get assigned to those personal managers that will walk you through all of it and answer your questions. In addition to the daily advance. So this is like the big thing. We're the first company that's ever been able to pull it off in the UK. And I'll tell you, it was tough because UK banking is a little bit stringent. It actually took us longer to get this knocked out than we expected, although we have tons of clients in the US already using it. So this is the really, really big announcement. But Natalie also wanted us to mention something else, that a couple of the things that we offer that are applicable to most online sellers. The next one is our bread and butter, which is the working capital. And again, not trying to give you a sales pitch, I'll just run through the real highlights of this. This we have been actually giving to UK based sellers in local currency even for a while now. And what sets us apart on this is, traditional banks, if you need working capital to go buy a lot of inventory, whether it's wholesale, whether it's private label, they don't look at things like sales history and marketplace performance, which we do. So we have, I would say, the best lending option, or the best, I think I'm actually not supposed to say lending, the best working capital legally solution for Amazon sellers out there. A lot of people are advertising, we can do, up to 200,000 or 100,000 pound loans. We can do, million plus because we're a little bit more established than they are and have significantly better infrastructure. So I don't know if there's any real hot points you want to hit on that, Leo. I don't want to go too deep into it.
Yeah, exactly. Not to dive too deep into it, but there are a couple of different solutions within our working capital umbrella. So again, understanding the needs and pain points of e-commerce businesses specifically. So there's a solution that will fit your need, basically, is what I would say. So feel free to reach out and we can kind of dive into the details on that.
And Natalie was talking about Amazon loans. The first Amazon loan I ever took, I only needed $100,000. And they said you can have $80,000 or $250,000. And I had to take the $250,000. And, I paid for money that I didn't need. And the other problem is you take the $250,000 and my first $35,000 I sent to China for my production run deposit, waited 30 days, paid the other 70% plus shipping, then waited. So I was actually paying for money that was just sitting in my account. With our working capital solutions, you can actually get pre-approved for an amount. Say if you're pre-approved for $1 million based on your sales, you can draw down small incremental amounts when you need it. And each draw you can start as a whole separate term. So you can say, well, this draw I need for 3 months. This one I need for 8 months. This one I need for 9, 12. And we are super, super, super transparent what, that equates to in fees and interest so that you can determine, hey, is it worth this? Can I afford not to do this because I can buy this inventory? When you look at your profit and understand opportunity cost, it's there. So we have a really, really cool solution. Again, won't hit you with the sales pitch there, but you can get signed up to our platform and check that out. Check out our website or post any questions to the Facebook group, and Natalie will make sure those get directed to us. The other thing that we have, which is very applicable. I'm sorry, Natalie, were you going to say something about that working capital?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that I see this as kind of a bit of a natural progression for our community. You'll have people that will probably go with the daily advanced option to go with. And then eventually as their business grows, it's like having, I suppose, a company that can support you with your growth, that you can move from the daily, you can move into the working capital, and then you can just continue to grow there. Because so many people run out of money, like in the last month. Everyone ran out of money. Everyone was like, and we've already referred some people to you who, by the way, the feedback has been absolutely fantastic, guys. The professionalism, the communication, the rates, the infrastructure, the technology, the way that you can draw down. So, the feedback's been absolutely phenomenal. We appreciate the working capital might not be for everyone at this stage, but obviously it potentially is going to be, and you guys are in this for the long haul. This isn't something that's, like I said, this is going to be a service that's going to continue to establish and grow in the UK market because it has to. It's already done it in the US. It supports the US market completely. So this is something that was always going to happen at this point. But also just the working capital. So this might be relevant to some sellers who may have only just started selling on Amazon or something like that. Correct me if I'm right or wrong, but I understand that this covers more than just Amazon. So is it Shopify and eBay and the other platforms? Sorry if I jumped ahead. Sorry.
No, that's right. Yeah. We don't just look at Amazon. The majority of our sales that we support are Amazon, but we can support Amazon, Shopify, Magento, eBay.
Walmart's just come on, and then Stripe as well. And even on website too. So if you're trading on, sorry to interrupt him, but if you're trading on a platform that isn't one of the above that we just mentioned, if it's an e-commerce business, we're still able to consider it. Not only that, but across geographies too, right? So as Tim mentioned earlier, we're not only in the UK, but also US, Canada. We can already take a look at European sales as well across those different platforms and Amazon, as well as Australia. So our target is to be a global solution for e-commerce, growth solution for e-commerce business.
So to Natalie's point, I was going to say to Natalie's point, we have sellers in our ecosystem right now that are based in one country, selling on multiple platforms in multiple other countries, and we can consolidate all of that data into one portfolio and give them one centralized unit of services that they can use to function within all those different pieces. So it's pretty cool.
In their preferred currency too.
In their preferred currency, yeah. So just because we're based in the US primarily, if you use a working capital solution from us, it's not like we're going to give you USD that you then have to convert. We can actually give you that working capital in GBP to your GBP account, right?
Yeah.
Which is cool. A lot of people don't talk about that, but that's important. So everything that we do basically trades across our digital wallet, which Natalie, who are the most popular in the UK for marketplace payouts? Now, where this is going to be applicable is if any of you are, for instance, selling in the US or selling in the EU, any of the European marketplaces, but you're based in the UK, you have two ways of getting your money back to you from marketplace payout. One is let Amazon give you that money. And Amazon used to charge 4% to convert your currency from francs or whatever, or from euros generally. I'm like pre-European Union, but from euros back to your GBP currency, they were charging you 4%. They've reduced that down to 1.5, which is still pretty high. The second solution is a third-party.
It's like Amazon caught on 5 years too late.
Yes. So who are the popular providers in this community, Natalie, for repatriating those funds?
I would probably say the top the top two are probably World First and TransferWise, and then possibly some of the Europeans, possibly No Payoneer a little bit more, I would have thought. So probably they're the top ones.
So what we did, and I actually understood the payment solution prior to the lending solution. And when we built this digital wallet, I said, we've got to have the best option out there. So our digital wallet operates just like Payoneer, TransferWise, World First. You know, World First has actually been bought by Alibaba now. Did you guys know that?
I feel like I did know that, but I'm going to say no, I didn't. No.
So what that means for me is they lost all of their currency transfer licenses in the U.S. because all of their banking systems was now Chinese owned, which nobody likes Chinese banks. So World First is having a bit of a struggle with different countries and their licensure to actually transfer money. People like TransferWise are big, you know, a lot of people know them, but they focus on a lot of industries, not just e-commerce, which we do. And we have some things they can't. Like we built a solution to pay Chinese suppliers in local RMB currency. Even TransferWise can't do that. And we knew that was important because we're built for e-commerce sellers, and a lot of those private label sellers are paying large amounts to Chinese suppliers, and we can save them 3 to 4% by paying in local currencies. So our digital wallet's pretty awesome. We can support more than 200 countries. Right now we have over 37 currencies, all sorts of crazy stuff going on there. But for those of you in the UK that are thinking about expanding globally, whether it's selling in the US, selling in EU, we'd love to talk to you about this. We are consistently signing people into the digital wallet with customized solutions that are saving them money and making their life easier. So that's kind of the main, those are kind of the main things that Sellers Funding does: the working capital, the daily advance, the digital wallet. We've been operating the digital wallet and working capital for sellers in the UK for some time now, but literally today we are publicly announcing the launch to you guys of that daily advance, which Natalie is absolutely convinced is going to be super, super exciting for you guys because, like I said, you can speed up your cash flow, you can make more money that way, and you can reduce some of your risks from funds being held.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the thing that I wanted to add about the daily advanced is because we get so many people that come into the group that have started selling, you know, especially this year. There's been this massive boom in Amazon sellers in 2020, of course. And sometimes us kind of older sellers or that have got daily disbursement feature as part of our accounts, we kind of forget what a massive advantage that is, you know, to our business, and newer sellers have a lot to compete against more established sellers, and it kind of helps even the playing field a little bit with those more experienced sellers that can flip their money quicker, essentially. But I just wanted to kind of clarify because yes, it's for those that may be saying, oh no, I've got daily disbursement, I'm able to do this or able to do that. There is a 2-week cycle. We have reserves and all these different types of things. Yes, most people still can draw down daily, but it's a small percentage of what of the balance is available. So I don't want people confusing what they think actual daily disbursement is. All of my sales at 8 o'clock in the morning, whatever is in my Amazon account, I can draw out in its entirety. Whereas somebody who has started selling in the last 2 or 3 years, and someone asked me earlier this, Tim, actually, and I don't know when the actual switch was. I don't know if it was like 2 or 3 years ago. 2 years feels too soon, but 3 years feels too long. So maybe it was somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've seen Jan 19 come up here and there, if that sounds about right. Yeah.
And I think it depends on the marketplace as well. In the US, it happened about 2016 is when they stopped the daily. Yeah.
Yeah. So it definitely happened here. Probably, definitely after that. But I can't I can remember dates really well, but for some reason, but it's one of those things that maybe it just wasn't this massive announcement and people don't talk about it, and people don't talk about the importance of this and how important it is to be able to access your money daily and flip it for a couple of reasons, not just from a profit point of view, but also a protection point of view. Yes, there's eligibilities that, you know, that I'll come on and ask you about in a moment, Leo, but at the same day, one of the things before the daily disbursement thing went, we as sellers would always talk about I know we all like to see this big pot of money building up and things like that, but it's actually not dangerous. I'm not going to use that word because I don't want to sound like I'm fear-mongering, but it's actually a really sensible thing to do to get your money out as quickly as possible, because obviously Amazon is a little bit of a volatile market. It doesn't apply to eBay. You can access your money a lot quicker through them, of course. It's a slightly volatile market. So as far as I'm concerned, it's got three options or three benefits. Amazon's a volatile market. It's good to get it out anyway. Two, don't let Amazon earn the money on the interest anyway. So we're just making Amazon richer, which, is a good thing, but it's better off in my pocket than it is in Jeff's. And thirdly, it's, that profit element of being able to get it out and flip it a lot quicker, and that compounding effect that the first 2 weeks you wouldn't notice, but as you do it more and more over a period of time, the more it's going to compound over a year, which will fuel business growth a lot quicker for a lot of sellers. And I think that's, that's the main element. And I've seen this big shift this year in 2020 where, and I don't want to be disrespectful to people before that didn't start selling in 2020, or the mood that's changed in this community, in Amazon communities, and I see it across all different countries, is I'm finding that people are now taking this more seriously, selling on Amazon. It's more of a business opportunity. And when when people are taking it more seriously, what happens with that? People start looking at it as a real business, not a side hustle. And these are the elements that you need to take into account when you're talking about cash flow management, when you're talking about budgeting and forecasting, things that happen normally in everyday businesses. But probably before this year, some people may not have considered, certainly in this, the UK arbitrage market, because it's always been like, okay, it's a side hustle. It's not a real business, even though it is. So this is the sort of thing that people need to start considering within their businesses.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, my light just switched off then. I don't know what happened. So that's what I wanted to kind of get across to people. It's the difference in between daily disbursement and what it used to be. Yes. Do you know what's funny? Actually, I mentioned it in the group today, and a seller that had been selling in the last year didn't realize that older sellers can draw down on their money daily. I suppose you don't miss what you don't know at the end of the day. So a lot of sellers didn't realize that this was a thing. But there are a couple of requirements, aren't there, Leo, with regards to eligibility? We've talked about 3 months. We've talked about a minimum amount of sales. This is for the daily disbursement. I think there's one more thing, which is the status of your company. So
that's correct. Yeah. So very few requirements, but there are a few that we have to meet, as Tim had said before. And so the last point is that we do require it to be a legal entity, so a private limited company, and that's for regulatory reasons. Unfortunately, this isn't something that we're able to offer if you're deemed to be a consumer, right, by the government standards. So so it just has to be a private limited company. But that's it. Other than that, you're welcome and free to apply.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the only final kind of barrier. Denise has asked, I know this is probably because the interest is charged daily, but can you give an idea of the interest rate? I know it's 2%, up to 2%, and just clarify the interest a little bit more, please. And
on the daily amount, it's not actually an interest rate, it's just a fee. And it changes based on a lot of scenarios. We, for extremely, extremely low drama, high volume clients, can get down below 0.5%. And like for the most risky, pain in the butt portfolios, it can be up to 2%. Typically, we don't quote me on this, but typically we try to stay at about the 1% mark. So if you have to pay 1% to get your money 13 days faster, but that money can help you with a 20 or 30% margin product, again, it's one of those things you can't afford not to do.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer, really. 1% versus, well, even if you look at it as gross margin, which could be 20, 30, 40%, even as net margin, it's still 10%, what most people work on at the end of the day. So, and if you pick something hot, you might be able to do it a couple of times in that month as well. And it's always going to be, it's what we talk about here a lot, guys, that compounding effect, that snowball effect that initially probably won't see too much of a difference, but as it builds, as it grows, as we roll into next Q4, then it's going to put a lot of people in different positions.
And again, you know, we don't want to sell you on anything that isn't a good solution for you. We're not trying to shove anything down your throat. Right. The big thing is transparency. So if you get signed up, we connect, we send you an offer, you'll be able to see exactly what that cost is. Like there's no hidden charges, there's no hidden fees, there's no lack of transparency, so that you can calculate, hey, does this make sense for me? And a lot of people it does. I'll be honest, the first time I heard about daily payouts, I thought, why would I pay, 1% of my money just to get it a little bit faster? I can hold out and wait. And then I started talking to more savvy businesses and sellers that were using it. I'm like, why are you doing this? And they showed me on paper why it made sense for them. And I thought, man, what's wrong with me? I've been sitting here waiting sometimes up to 2 weeks to get my money. Where, I was kind of like stepping over $1 to pick up a dime. I don't know if that translates to British analogies, but one of those good Southern US analogies.
Yeah, I can see how it would. Yeah, I don't know the exact UK equivalent of that. Maybe someone does in the comments if you could let us know of that phrase. But yeah, I think it's definitely something that, this is not a sales pitch, guys. This is only for you if you want it. It's an option. There's no payment up front. You don't have to pay these guys 500 quid to look at something for you. At the end of the day, you can inquire, you can talk to one of the team, and if you decide it's not for you, no one's gonna come down and accuse you of wasting time. It's about exploring and knowing what is right for your business at the right time for your business. And I think definitely, I'm not going to generalize. I'm not going to talk in general terms of everyone, but I run a distribution company before, being an Amazon seller anyway as well. And some of these things, like Peter was talking about, factoring, if you've been in traditional type of business beforehand, you're probably used to seeing these different types of things, but this is the first time you've run a business. These are new terminologies and offers and things like that some of these guys might not have heard about. So, and generally in the UK market, I find we're not as, I don't know, I don't want to use the wrong word, but like I've been to like a ClickFunnels kind of conference and those type of things in the US, where everyone's like, US are kind of, you're used to this type of thing, and you're very much, we're going to sign up, we're going to do this, we're going to make it. Whereas us guys, this is the first time we're sort of hearing about this kind of thing. So we don't want anyone to feel pressured or anything like that whatsoever. The opportunity is there for you guys when it's right for your business. And I've got no doubts whatsoever that one of those options is going to be suitable for everybody at some point in their business.
Amen.
Good. Right. Any questions? Let me know. Obviously, we've had quite a few people on tonight, and I think you've just explained it really well, because there doesn't seem to be many questions at this stage. Let's just go back. I just want to see if I missed anything whatsoever. So the next step for people, if we're just waiting for the last questions to come in, is I'm going to post a link. I'll post it in the Facebook group afterwards as well, which is like our kind of referral link, whatever you want to call it. And like I said, that's in place to be able to monitor who's coming through, like Tim said. So hopefully if loads of you guys sign up, Tim's going to come back and talk to us loads more. So it's bribery really at the end of the day. We're trying to bribe Tim to come back and tell us all about the US market, which I'm sure I'm sure you will at some point. I'm going to put you on the spot. Fingers crossed. But like Heather says, we're quite reserved. And I think when it comes to business terms, that's something that just by talking about it, guys, ask questions in the group. Tim and Leo are in the Secret Wealth Project group. So please, if it's all right with you guys, feel free to tag you. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Questions? Any questions as we go along, and these guys will always talk to you. And I know from, as I said, experience for referring people already, what communication everybody has been talking about. Charlie says, great presentation, guys, very clear and transparent. And that was one of your prerequisites, wasn't it, Tim? For you to be involved in this, because you're very well-known seller in the US. For people that might be saying, I know Tim, I know him from somewhere, but I don't know where it's from. It's because you did this very popular series on YouTube in a collaboration with Helium 10 called Project X. And that you were a big seller before that anyway as well. So more and more people might recognize you. So you were never going to put your name to something that wasn't right for Amazon sellers, and you were clear about certain things. That's right.
Yeah, and that's not something I talk about a lot, but it is true. You know, I've had a lot of invitations to work with different companies in the space, and one, I'm busy. I've got a lot of stuff going on, so I have to be really passionate about, something that's going to take up my time. But two, I know a lot of people in the industry, and I see a lot of crappy companies and people that I wouldn't want to attach my name to. And I actually started working with Sellers Funding as a consultant, just a marketing consultant for a while. And the more I got involved with them and the more I learned about the company culture and the ethics and the incredible products that were being put together, I said, man, I got to get more involved with these guys. So I had an opportunity to take a little more official role with them. And I jumped at that. And there are even companies like Helium 10, the biggest software company in the space, who's been offering me a job for years that I turned down. And it's because Sellers Funding really is something special and has something cool going on, and it's really helping sellers. So, yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, no, great to hear. Great to hear. Andy said, great show. Definitely be looking into it. Mike said he'll definitely be looking into this. Could be definitely a game changer. And I said that. Do you know what? This phrase in the Amazon space, I'm sure it's the same in the US Amazon kind of community base where people launch something new, game changer, game changer. This is a game changer. I stand by that. I'm not being Switzerland. I'm not sitting on the fence. I do stand by this will be a game changer for the people that go ahead and employ this into this business. And, it's not going to be for everyone. I will 100% say that. We know that for sure. It's not going to be for everyone, but it should be for everyone. And because I know the importance of being a seller who can access my funds every 24 hours and what a difference that does make to the business. But as I said, something we're going to let people explore and find out about them on themselves. What I'm going to do is probably won't do it tonight. I'll probably do it tomorrow. Well, I'll post the link tonight for anyone that's interested in just to clarify. If they go in, click the link, fill out their details. It's non-obligation, right? So that just by filling their details in, they're not signing up to anything.
No.
Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, they can connect their store, and we can basically make sure they're qualified, figure out what they're qualified for. But you're not locked into anything. You're not paying us anything. You're just kind of checking your eligibility and getting connected with a customer success rep that can kind of help you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just wanted to re-clarify that for everyone. So I'll pop that link after we finish up here tonight for you guys to explore at your own time. And then I'll probably put a more detailed post tomorrow morning, just explaining to everyone kind of what went on tonight. Always explained the night before. Someone's just said, oh, Simona, I turned up late. Have to rewatch, or could you do a recap?
Let's just start the whole hour over again.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go back to the future at 7 o'clock. Just Simona, she's one of our lovely. I'll just very quickly recap. Tim and Leo have been talking to us about a UK first exclusive daily disbursement or daily advanced option for people who do not have the regular, like older sellers, daily disbursement option. So depending on your account, which actually I was really surprised with how lenient you guys are for, what you'll consider to supply this option for. Depending on your account, you may be able to draw down on a 24-hour or a daily basis 90% of the funds that are in your account every 24 hours. Is that right?
That's it. Perfect.
Yeah. Yep.
There we go. Just wanted to clarify. So Simona says, haha, sorry. No, that's fine. Obviously, this is streamed live via Facebook, so the replay is available immediately. Some people watch live. Some people, guys will know what it's like, actually. Some people watch when they're doing the school run and, that type of thing anyway as well. So I'm sure we're going to have lots of ongoing viewers that want to find out more about this. So I'll make sure that the link's very prominent in the group. Thank you so much for spending the evening with us. I tell you what, the regular viewers of this will be like really relieved, because normally this goes on for hours. Well, like when I'm talking, and it always ends up running into about 9 o'clock normally. But thank you so much for spending the time with us this evening. I'm sure you guys will be back at some point to update us on further advancements within the business. And as this, you know, I take it for the future, Sellers Funding, there's more to come.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So, look at you. You two are good. Yeah.
I almost gave it away already, but we'll wait until next time.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, that's good to know. These guys are used to having the carrot dangled, so you know that's absolutely fine. But thank you so much for joining me, Tim. We'd love to have you back in the new year to talk about the opportunity of selling in the US. And I can honestly say this, guys, when it comes to selling in the US, this is the guy. This is the guy that knows what he's doing. There we go. Janet's just said this is the quickest never mind the buy box they've ever seen. So everyone can go off and watch I'm a Celebrity or do whatever they normally get told off for saying, I'm right. Stop talking. I want to watch this. Tonight you get a pass because it was just fantastic information. Great service that I know is going to make a huge difference to a lot of sellers out there. So thank you so much, guys. Everyone, I'll see you same time next week. We've actually got a US seller coming on next week, but UK based, but sells in a different capacity. So a guy called Seth's going to be joining us next week, and he's going to be talking about selling used books in the US. So something that's pretty interesting from that point of view. So something to look forward to next week. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for your time. Thanks for everyone joining us, and I'll see you soon. Stay safe, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.